I've been alive for 7,592 days, and since that day, nearly 21 years ago, many things have changed. The birth of the smartphone, the evolution of streaming services and social media, and the boom of artificial intelligence and electric vehicles. We've been through financial crises, global pandemics, and climate disasters. The president was black, the UK left the EU, and e-commerce has taken over every market. But one thing has remained the same throughout those thousands of days and nights. LeBron James has been an active NBA player. LeBron has been a shining employee of the National Basketball Association since October 29, 2003. Exactly 7,748 days ago, and about 5 months before I even entered the world. LeBron James has been in the NBA every second I've been alive. It's not a unique experience for me, as there have been over 3 billion other humans out there who were born after his first game, but it had me thinking. LeBron's longevity has been a constant talking point as the seasons continue to pile up for him. When he finally delivered his promise to Cleveland in 2016 at 31 years old, the defining moment of his career, many of us wondered just how much longer he had until his game began to decline. How many more years does he have in the tank? Nearly a decade later, these thoughts have yet to be answered. It's true that he is past his prime athletically, and that other intangibles in his game have not been as good as normal for quite some time. But the plain truth is that LeBron has remained better than at least 95% of players on the planet for 2 decades. With him legitimately being an all-NBA productive talent for my entire existence, I wanted to know if he was as good as ever on the day I turned 20 as he was the day I came out of the womb. So, I tracked down each game he played on my birthday or in close proximity, went down the years, and then ranked them in order based on his game score, to see if the man who has constantly toyed with Father Time was aging like Benjamin Button every time I got a little bit older. I was born on the day after April Fool's Day 2004, and when my dear mother was fighting to get me out, LeBron was about 900 miles away in Milwaukee playing his 72nd professional match. Against the Bucks, headlined by Michael Redd, the Cavs were outmatched for an 18-point loss. The rookie didn't have his best showing either. Despite having 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and 5 steals, he also had 5 turnovers and 20 points on 19 shots, producing a game score of 16.1. Second best on his team for the night, behind an efficient 26-11 from Carlos Boozer. A year and a day later, LeBron was matched up with Dirk and his Mavs as Dallas looked to cross the 50-win mark on the season. However, the Cavs had other plans, routing the Mavericks in a blowout victory. James had a much improved game as well, clocking in with a huge 29.1 game score behind a 37-point performance to go along with 10 boards, 7 dimes, and 2 steals. For my second birthday, LeBron was in North Carolina to face the lowly Bobcats. Despite Charlotte only hoisting 20 wins late in the regular season, the Cats gave a challenge to a Cavs team that was heading for the postseason. Cleveland squeezed out a 2-possession win where the King had 35 points, powered by a big 15-point opening quarter. He had his best game score yet, with 29.6, due in part to his 8 assists, 12 rebounds, and 2 blocks on 54% from the field. The day after I exited my terrible 2-3 was in Target Center for a star matchup with the big ticket late into his tenure with the Timberwolves. Cleveland got their 45th win on the season, 101-88. Despite 22-12 with 3 blocks from KG, Bron topped the game score rank again with a 30.3 night, 31-12-6, and 4 steals, and interestingly enough, a second consecutive 15-point first quarter in our timeline. In 2008, exactly 2 years after he gifted me 35 against the Cats for my big day, King James was in Charlotte once again, where he would find himself in a similarly tight battle with the Bobcats. Jason Richardson, Gerald Wallace, and Emeka Okafor combined for 77 points. LeBron would mark a game score of 23.6 with 29 points, 5 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. However, he would foul out after playing 31 minutes. Fortunately, a hot shooting fourth quarter from Wally Szczerbiak would lift the Cavs to the 4-point dub. When I turned 5, the 61-win Cavs were visiting the 17-win Washington Wizards, who had their season disrupted due to a certain scandal from their all-star Gilbert Arenas. At this point in the season, Gil had returned for DC, and the Wizards would manage a massive win over the reigning Eastern Conference champions. Arenas didn't have a good game either, scoring 11 points on 11 shots. It was Caron Butler who led the way with 25 points. LeBron had a relatively normal night despite the result. The MVP that season, averaging nearly 29 a night, James posted 31, 9, and 6 on 61% shooting for a game score of 22.9, tanking his score quite a bit due to an ugly 6 turnovers. As I celebrated my 6th birthday, LeBron was celebrating his 60th win on the season with a home win over the Hawks. In one of his final games during his first stint in Cleveland, James, honing in on his second MVP award, had 27 points, 13 boards, 6 assists, and 2 steals for a game score of 23.9. A day after my 7th birthday, LeBron, now a Miami Heat after a long and dramatic offseason, was playing just minutes away from me against the pathetic New Jersey Nets in their final days in the state, playing at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. With yet another 15-point first quarter, James and his new team won the game handily by 14, and he logged a game score of 26.6, nearly pushing towards a quadruple-double with 31 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, and 7 turnovers. During the lockout-shortened season, the Heat hosted the 76ers on April 3, 2012. Philly managed to keep up with the stacked Heat in the first half but stalled in the third. LeBron would put them away in the fourth, scoring 15 of his 41 points in the final frame. Overall, James had 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals on his way to a game score of 33.8, quite easily his highest yet, and a Heat victory, moving his record for my annual LeBron game to 7-2. LeBron rested for 3 straight games between March 31st and April 5th, 2013, due to a right hamstring strain. This included a game against the Knicks in Miami on my 8th birthday, where the LeBronless and Wadeless Heat would fall in a 19-point loss. This means the first game James played after I completed my 8th trip around the sun was an April 6 meeting, once again with the Sixers. Miami would win their 60th game on the season behind a calm 27-4-5 on an astonishing 70% from the field for number 6, generating a game score of 24.2. As I observed my first decade in this world, LeBron was honing in on his 3rd decade at 29 years old and hosting the Bucks. Milwaukee was a terrible team, with a glimpse of yet to come with a 19-year-old Giannis Antetokounmpo. LeBron had a short night as Miami routed the Deer for an easy win, only playing 3 quarters and less than 30 minutes. He posted 17 on 12 shots, along with 18 boards and 4 dimes for a mild game score of 16.7, his lowest on this list since his rookie year. For my first birthday with LeBron back leading his hometown Cavaliers, he was faced against some very familiar faces, Dwayne Wade and the Miami Heat. Unfortunately, an anticipated duel was soiled as Wade would hurt his knee in the second quarter and wouldn't return, leaving the ragtag Heat to stave off the likes of Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, and King James. The latter, who had 23 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 stocks to plug a game score of 21.6 and charge Cleveland to a 114-88 victory. In the same year that LeBron would arguably have the most iconic postseason of his career, he was in a mundane late-season game against Charlotte, now returned to their teal and purple Hornets' glory. Against the Kemba Walker-led team, LeBron showed out for a near triple-double with 31 points, 12 assists, and 8 rebounds in 40 minutes for a game score of 28.6. J.R. Smith would also have a standout night of 27 points and 6 threes as the Cavs defended their home court for a 9-point victory. As I officially reached teenage status, the chosen one was going head-to-head with one of his more competitive conference and divisional rivals, the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers were having a mediocre season, and they would soon fall victim to LeBron's Cavs in the postseason for one last time. But before then, Paul George and LeBron James would face off amid a playoff picture crunch. This game was an intense battle that went into double overtime, and the matchup between two of the league's best small forwards delivered. George had an extreme night with 43 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, and 3 steals. Yet, LeBron punched right back with a huge triple-double, 41 points, 14 boards, and 11 assists, all on 55% from the field. James had a game score of 38.3 that night, a new high score on the list, and doing it in his 14th season. The Cavs walked away with a 5-point W and got their 49th win on the season. LeBron's last year playing for home, a day after my 14th birthday, Bron gave me one of the worst belated birthday presents I've ever gotten. Handing my Toronto Raptors a loss, albeit something that he was very good at doing. The Raptors were having a franchise record regular season, and this game was some unsubtle foreshadowing of what was to come yet again in the 2018 playoffs. James had 27, 6 and 10, but with 5 turnovers. His game score would level out to an average of 20.6. As LeBron took his talents to Southern California, Father Time began to finally catch up to his health. He had managed little sprains and strains masterfully throughout his career, but in his first year with LA, on Christmas Day, he suffered his first major injury that would cause him to miss substantial time. He would be absent for 17 straight games following the groin strain and continue to miss games here and there for the remainder of the season. That included a stint in early April where he would miss the remainder of the regular season, resting up and managing the injury. Because of that, the closest game he played to April 2nd that year was a March 29th match against the Hornets in Staples Center, his last game of the season. James would have no problem getting his usual scoring contributions, having a good night from beyond the arc, going 4 for 7 from downtown, and finishing with 27 points on 19 shots overall. However, he had 6 turnovers to his 9 assists and only 3 rebounds, resulting in a lower than usual game score of 18.5. With that being said, a hot night from KCP and 17 assists from Rajon Rondo helped the Lakers come out on top for a 14-point W at home, 129-115. Then there was 2020. As we're all well aware, the pandemic suspended practically everything about a week into March, and that included the NBA season. So, there were no games played by LeBron, or anyone else for that matter, as I turned 16. His last game before the shutdown was March 10th against the Nets, and he wouldn't play an NBA game again until July 30th. Both dates feel a bit too far from the period in the year that we're focusing on, and since it was quite an unprecedented year, I don't think we'll count 2020 in our ranking and analysis. This means we leap to 2021, where it unfortunately doesn't get much better. The NBA was back to playing, but LeBron was still suffering from the injury bug. On March 20th, in a game at home against Atlanta, he suffered what I consider to be the second major injury of his career. In the second quarter, James rolled his ankle on the foot of Solomon Hill and didn't return. He would be diagnosed with a high right ankle sprain that would cause him to miss 20 consecutive games that followed and 26 of the remaining 30 games that season, including April in its near entirety. This had come after he injured his left ankle at season start, and he would only suit up for 45 games that year. So once again, another season that is inapplicable to our little case study. In 2022, I reached the legal age of 18, and LeBron was back to playing on my birthday, and in a big way. On April Fool's Day 2022, James's Lakers were in LA to face a New Orleans team, sans Zion Williamson. James had returned to the court after missing 3 of the prior 4 games due to knee soreness, and he would come back with a pretty large scoring night. He would net 38 points, along with 8 boards and 4 assists, but with 6 turnovers and a 3-point loss, his game score would level out to 24.9, where we've certainly seen better pieces of work on this list. On the night I turned 19, the Lakers were up against the Rockets in Houston. Despite the middling season that LA was having, they took care of the young and terrible Rockets in easy fashion, with the Lakers' lead stars, James and Davis, playing only a few minutes in the fourth quarter. The team would leave Toyota Center with a 25-point win. Bron wouldn't have a great shooting night anyway, with 18 points on 18 shots in 29 minutes. Still, he put together a triple-double with 11 assists and 10 rebounds, with only 1 turnover, giving him a somewhat lower than expected game score of 19.4. In year 21 for LeBron, as I reached 2 full decades on this planet, the King was going to work in the most fitting way possible while I celebrated a pretty important milestone in my life, owning my beloved Raptors. Suiting up for his 66th game of the season, Bron took the court in Toronto and effortlessly dropped 23, shooting 10 of 12 from the field, good for 83%, and only needed to play 29 minutes against the pitiful Dinos. He also marked 4 rebounds and 9 assists with just 1 turnover for a light win and a game-high game score of 23.9. And there we have it. 21 seasons, 19 games, and pretty consistent throughout. Astonishingly, LeBron James, through these 19 games, spanning 20 years, averaged exactly 29.2 points, 7.3 assists, and 8.3 rebounds. This aligns with his notorious career average of 27, 7, and 7, but it also aligns with another piece of data. The stats for the average All-NBA first-team small forward in the league are 27.5 points, 4.5 assists, and 7.5 rebounds per game, with an overwhelmingly positive record of 16.3, meaning LeBron has played at an All-NBA level at every point I've grown older since the day I was born, even taking into consideration the years that have piled on and the fact that I was born very late into a long and grueling NBA season. For someone with the load James takes on for his teams, I mean, the guy's played more NBA basketball than anyone who has ever existed. It's truly an incredible athletic feat. But which one of these games was the best? The worst? The most impressive? Let's look back at the game scores and sort it out. His best game around my birthday was for sure his year 14 double OT thriller against the Pacers on my 13th birthday. That monster 40-point triple-double led to a huge win for the Cavs over a close rival. However, it helps accumulate a higher score with the added periods. The best game he had within standard regulation was his 41-point barrage against the Sixers in 2012. Towards the end of his athletic prime, and amid his 4 MVPs in 5 years, it comes as no surprise that the King's best game on this list comes during this era. Rounding out the top 3, we have his 30-point double-double he produced in his 4th year in the league when I turned 3, with a game score of 30.3 and 4 blocks on 54% from the field. It was one of the more impactful late-season performances early in his career. As for the worst 3, third to the bottom, We have a 2019 game against Charlotte where an injury-managing LeBron had a less than ideal facilitating night, resulting in a game score just over 18. Second to last is the 2014 match against the Bucks, where LeBron had a short and uneventful night due to the Cavs making quick work of the lackluster Milwaukee squad. And his worst? Well, the first. With a 16.1 game score, his rookie year match on the very day I was born was the worst it would ever get for me and LeBron. To be fair, it was also his first rodeo in the association, but it was a poor efficiency, high turnover night that resulted in a loss, which he didn't have too many of in this sample size. And that'll do it. This brings us to the current 2024-25 season, where LeBron is slated to host Steph Curry's Golden State Warriors the day after my 21st birthday. Hopefully, it'll be another time-warping game from the King. And since I'll celebrate legal drinking age, perhaps I'll honor the occasion with some very special LeBron James Hennessy as a full-circle gesture. All jokes aside, I wanted to do this silly little video as an expression of how impressive the longevity of one of the game's very best has been, especially that we've been made more and more clear in recent years just how little time we may have left watching LeBron do what he does. But I'm curious, what's your favorite LeBron performance? Did he have any fantastic games on your birthday? Let me know in the comments below. If you got to this point in the video, I truly appreciate you. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and join the family. We even have our channel memberships starting at $2 a month to support growing this little thing of ours. If you would like to see some more of my stuff, I picked out a video for you right here. And if not, hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Peace, and thank you for watching.